Could a cold front I'm tracking bring some relief from the heat? What about the rain chances? Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
How you doing, friends? Rusty back here with you at Meteo Mundo. It is Monday, March the 18th. I hope you've had a great weekend. Coming up in this forecast video, we've got a couple of pretty strong cold fronts that's going to be bringing some changes to some of our areas, including the threat for some heavy showers and storms. That's coming up later in the week. We'll get started with what's happening right now, and as we do so here at Meteo Mundo, thank you so much for liking the video. Here's what's going on, your live look at our visible satellite imagery on this Monday afternoon. Thick clouds moving across the Gulf of Mexico, portions of the peninsula of Florida, creeping down towards the Bahamas. That is our next front coming in, but that's not even the next or the most powerful front here over the week ahead. Got a stronger one coming up. First thing I want to do, take a look at your live temperatures here at Meteo Mundo on this Monday afternoon across the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Right now, it's getting pretty hot outside, right? Warm to hot, certainly humid across most of our area. Temperatures in most areas have easily gotten into the upper 80s, the lower 90s. Places like Kingston has hit 90 degrees for today. Same thing for portions of Puerto Rico. They're in at 90. Trinidad, near Port of Spain, right around 90 for the daytime high. And some spots are even hotter than that. You get into portions of Central America and you're talking about some triple digit heat. It's like Toasty McToasterson over there. Again, it is mid-March and we're seeing some triple digit numbers for us here. Now, look, it's going to stay pretty hot and humid in most areas, but there are some changes coming in a couple of spots. Now, I want to talk about what's happening right now, and then we'll dive deeper into the actual forecast over the next 5 days coming up. But the first thing I want to look at is the winds, because the winds are playing a factor right now in our weather, especially with some of the surf and sea conditions outside. So we've had some breeze kick up with the cold front moving in through the Gulf of Mexico, especially the northwest Gulf of Mexico. You can see some of those buoys are reporting winds of over 40 miles an hour. The winds have yet to pick up in the Bahamas, but they will later in the day and especially for tomorrow. Clouds are already getting thicker right now in places like Walker's Key and Grand Bahama. As we get back towards New Providence and places like Andros and Eleuthera, still relatively sunny, but you can see the winds that have picked up in Florida. That's going to be marching our way with the front and some rain. And guess what? It's not even the strongest front that we're going to see throughout the week. We do have some pretty kicked up, churned up winds and surf and sea conditions for portions of the Lesser Antilles, especially the Barbados area. I'm going to highlight that coming up, but we're starting to see longer swells, big old long period swells coming in with our easterlies, and we've had some winds that have been gusting nearly at 30 miles an hour here. You can see up here in the St. Martin, St. Bartholomew area, again, from time to time, we'll get the reporting sensors to show us some winds of nearly 30 miles an hour. Pretty breezy through the British and U.S. Virgin Islands and portions of Puerto Rico. As you would imagine, the ABC Islands continue to see some very strong winds. Curacao right now with a 30-mile-an-hour wind gust there. And we're also seeing some pretty breezy conditions through portions of Jamaica. You can see again on this visible satellite imagery, we're pulling in a strong southeast wind that has kicked up the sea conditions in the southern areas of Jamaica. And I highlight all of these areas because all of these areas that I just mentioned have relatively dangerous surf and sea conditions. And that's the first thing I want to talk about right now. So for the Bahamas, we're gonna have a small craft caution going into effect that'll be sticking around as the front comes in. So right now, winds are out of the southwest at 15 to 20 knots, but behind the front tomorrow and on Wednesday, they'll be northwest at 15 to 25. We're really gonna churn up the open Atlantic waters there, but even some sheltered locations, we're gonna have some stronger winds. And again, small craft should be exercising caution in the Bahamas the next few days. For Barbados, we have a small craft advisory in effect for virtually all of the offshore waters. That goes until Wednesday morning. Large swells, 2.5 to around 3 meters. We're going to be knocking on the door of some 10-foot swells across portions of Barbados, and obviously beachgoers should be exercising caution as well for some of the rougher surf conditions and the rip current risk as well. Jamaica, you do have a strong wind and large wave advisory that's in effect through the remainder of today. Now, I do expect the winds and the waves to calm down a little bit on Tuesday. That's good news. But again, for the southern coastline of Jamaica, the strong wind and large wave advisory, and for the ABC Islands, we're generally seeing rough seas and gale force winds are possible. Those are winds of 27 to 33 knots, and there will be some higher gusts than that. Again, we're going to be approaching some spots where we're going to have some winds nearly 40 miles an hour in the afternoon hours. So back over to our satellite presentation for us here. Let's take a look at the upper level water vapor imagery here. Again, relatively speaking, the air is still relatively dry. We do have some moisture creeping back in over the Pacific through portions of Central America. And here comes the moisture with our next front. This is going to spell some rain chances for places like Freeport and Lucaya and Nassau in the Bahamas coming up for us here. And we'll talk about just how far south that rain is going to go. But of course, the other big story is what it's going to do for our winds. Trying to get a north wind in some of our areas to bring us slightly cooler weather, colder weather in some spots, but if anything else, trying to drop the humidity down just a bit as well. So this is our wind vector product here. We're going to take a look at a couple of different things in association with the wind, because the wind really is a big story here across our area over the next 5 days. We are going to have a couple of spots that will see big wind shifts over the next 5 days. So as this model is firing up, again, thank you so much for liking the video. If you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button right now. You want these daily forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Hopefully you enjoy the presentation. And again, if you have a specific question about the forecast, fire it off in the comments section below. I'm absolutely happy to answer that. Also, let me know, have you seen a drop of rain over the last 7 days? I think some of you are going to say, Rusty, I have not. We've had some drier spots here. So let's try and get you a little bit more rain. Now, we're going to stay with our easterlies in the areas that you would expect here in March. That's going to be the Lesser Antilles, the Virgin Islands, the ABC Islands. Our easterlies will continue here. We're going to see a bit of a wind shift, the northern sides of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, portions of Central America, including the Yucatan, and the Bahamas. And for some of these areas, it's not just one wind shift, it's actually two. So marching this out, this is later this evening here. As I go through time, once again, I want you to notice, I'm going to zoom in on the areas that we're going to be talking about some of these wind changes. Notice as we get into tomorrow, we're going to pull in a nice north wind throughout the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos, Cuba, portions of the Cayman Islands, and the Yucatan. Cancun's winds will turn out of the northeast. If nothing else, this should knock the humidity down just a little bit. I can't say it's going to put a big dent in it, but any little break from the heat and the humidity, I think you guys will enjoy. I don't think it's going to bring more rain, unfortunately, to a lot of these areas. And fairly quickly, as we get into late Wednesday and Thursday, winds will once again turn out of the south and east in most of these areas ahead of the next very strong front. And as I step this out into next Friday night, you can see the next wind shift coming. We're going to have extremely strong winds in the Bahamas with the next front. The next front, Friday, Saturday, is more potent than the one coming in the Bahamas over the next 48 hours. But it has enough oomph to provide a wind shift in the areas that I just mentioned. Then next weekend and early next week, I'll be monitoring this more powerful front, and we'll see just how far south and east it can get to bring in some wind shifts through portions of the Western Caribbean. Again, eastern sides, Lesser Antilles, Antigua, Barbuda, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, ABC Islands, you're staying with your east winds. So let's go over to the wind gust product here. Let me fire that up, because this will talk about the winds as far as how much we're actually going to see here. So now you're looking at two products, and I think I'll be able to show you both at the same time, which is kind of a neat thing here at Meteo Mundo. So what you're looking at is not only the wind direction in your area, but the strength of those winds, okay? And again, you want to look for the yellows and the oranges. Those are winds are going to be over 30 knots from time to time. My apologies, Bermuda. Slammed again with another very powerful storm with probably some 40 and 50 knot winds coming out of that one here in the next 48 hours or so. Again, southern sides of the Caribbean, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, very strong easterlies stay there. There's the wind shift. Now, the winds won't be very strong in places like Jamaica with the next wind shift, but at least it's a north wind. And then I will stop it here this next time, and we'll take a look at what's happening in the Bahamas with the front coming in later this week. So this is going to be early on Thursday morning, and then we'll just kind of stair step this out. So take a look at this again. The wind's picking up back out of the southeast. Here comes our next storm system. By the way, the whites that you see in the arrows correspond again with over 30 knot winds, and you can see that with the yellows here. So kind of just basically two different things on the model indicating that we're going to have some 30 plus knot winds. First of all, ahead of the storm system on Friday throughout most of the Northwest Bahamas, but more than likely even behind that. And because we can do whatever we feel like here at Meteo Mundo, I'm actually going to extend this out another couple of days, and we can take a look at what happens beyond that, because I just want everyone in the Bahamas to see that this will be a storm system that will have some fairly large impacts for the weekend ahead as far as wind and rain, and possibly some showers and storms as well. So I'm going to let this carry out here for just one more second, and then we'll take a look at kind of what the weekend holds in store. So if I pause it here again, this is going to be Friday afternoon, and then we'll swing into Saturday here, and the arrows might accompany it, and there you go. And there's your next wind shift coming in on Sunday. So you can see the stronger winds coming along with it. Obviously here on Friday, it's going to be a south wind. And then as we get into Saturday and Sunday, the winds will turn back out of the north and the east, but be exceptionally strong. Certainly would anticipate the possibility of some gale force winds there. Now, again, we'll be watching for this second front to plummet in north winds into the northwest areas of our viewing area, but portions of the Dominican Republic and Haiti and Santo Domingo, including all of the Dominican Republic, could see winds shifting back out of the north over the next weekend as well. All right, so let's talk about the rain. What is this going to do for rain? Because that's the next big story for us here, right? So let me get back here to the model and just bring it back to 5 days, and then I'll put this into motion. So the first thing that we're going to see here with the rain is that it's not going to be as significant, again, with the first front coming in. It will be more potent for portions of our area with the next front after that. With the easterlies, again, limited rain chances in the Lesser Antilles. It doesn't mean we're going to be completely dry, but I don't expect some big chances for rain. And that's where we'll start, and we'll kind of work our way from east to west. So for my friends in Trinidad and Tobago, it has been exceptionally hot. It's been exceptionally humid. It's been exceptionally dry. I don't have a big change in the forecast coming up for that, but that's not just you guys. That includes basically all the Windward Islands, Grenada, St. Vincent, the Grenadines up towards Barbados. Limited opportunity for some isolated showers. We are not going to be completely dry over the next 5 days, but it's also not going to shock me if you let me know on Friday that I didn't get a drop of rain all this week. It's just kind of the pattern that we're in. Now, again, we're going to kick up some of the swells, and I've already mentioned some of the advisories in effect for Barbados. But it's not just Barbados. All of our eastern-facing shorelines here could pick up some higher swell activity. I'll be monitoring that. No other advisories are issued right now, but that could certainly change for places like Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, on over towards the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Tortola, towards Roadtown, St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix. Isolated showers from our friends in San Juan. I do expect there to be a better chance for some rain in portions of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands mid to late week. Basically dry the next couple of days, isolated passing showers, some of that nighttime activity that will be moving in as we get into Thursday and Friday. One area that is close enough to this front, and again, I know it's not much of a change, but there's a little bit better chance for rain across the Dominican Republic and Haiti overall, especially on the Dominican Republic side. You can see again with that northeast wind coming in, we're going to throw in a few showers in the forecast. I'll be watching that, but the opportunity to pick up some showers here again midweek, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but even a little bit better chance in places like Santo Domingo and Santiago de los Caballeros, even Lacaille there on the peninsula of Haiti could pick up a couple of showers as well. My friends in Jamaica. So we already talked about the rough surf and sea conditions there. Now, I don't have a lot of rain. Again, I think we're going to pop off a few isolated showers every afternoon. I've got 2 afternoons to monitor a little bit more closely. That would be tomorrow, and you can see the model brings in a little bit of rain tomorrow afternoon. Look, I know it's not much. I get it, but a few showers could be lifted up with some of this rain activity. Again, I think the central and the eastern sides of the island have a little bit better chance than the western sides, like Montego and Negril and Savannah Lamar, but the chance is out there, right? We've got the opportunity. And then Wednesday is relatively dry, And then Thursday, which is the 21st, a couple more showers just trying to sneak in, just a little bit more moisture. I mean, I'm fine hairs here. I'm trying to pull, you know what I mean, as far as getting you some better shots for some rain. So let's talk about the forecast in Montego Bay. 20% chance for showers the remainder of today, 30% chance Tuesday, 30% chance Friday. That's the best I can do. Now, places like Montego Bay on the northwest side of the island are going to be cooler than other areas, okay? Upper 80s to right around 90 degrees, okay? That's mainly the upper 20s in Celsius. For places like Kingston and Portmore and Spanish Town, it will be a couple degrees Celsius hotter each afternoon. Most areas around Kingston, Portmore, Spanish Town, 30, 31, even 32 degrees Celsius, okay? That's lower 90s for daytime highs. The humidity up as well. The feels like temperature approaching the triple digits in Fahrenheit each afternoon. So very hot and humid conditions. A lot of my friends in Jamaica have let me know just how hot and humid it is. That trend continues. Just continue to stay safe. Across portions of Central America, we're going to get some isolated showers popping up across portions of Guatemala's coastline on over towards Roatan, Belize City as well. Nothing that's going to be very concentrated, certainly very hot in inland portions of Guatemala and Belize and up towards the Yucatan, where we could see some triple digit temperatures from time to time along the coastline. Temperatures mainly in the upper 80s. Now, as far as any concentrated rain, no, not a lot here. I'm spinning this out over the next 5 days. And again, isolated shower or two. Places like Belize City and San Pedro might actually have a few showers in the morning and then dry out in the afternoon. But again, not a huge chance for showers. Now you get towards the Yucatan, Cancun and Cozumel. Now we start to get a little bit closer to where the front could actually impact. I don't expect there to be a lot of rain, but again, cooler air could be driving in with our front here, and there'll be a limited opportunity for a couple of showers in this spot. It's about the same situation for the Cayman Islands. I don't want to leave you guys out. Again, limited opportunities. You guys are kind of right in between what Jamaica is going to see and what the Yucatan is going to see, meaning that you're not going to get as much rain as Cancun, but you will probably get a little bit more of a north wind and try and cool off a little bit more than places like Kingston. But again, fairly limited opportunities for showers, Georgetown and West End. Then we get to the Bahamas, and again, the area that I'll be closely watching for our next front. And again, later into the forecast, this front will impact areas further to the south. So stay tuned for that. Just because you didn't get rain with this first front doesn't mean you're not going to get showers with the next one. So let's talk about how this first front plays out. For tomorrow, through the northwest and central Bahamas, for my friends in places like Marsh Harbor and Dunmore Town and Bimini there in Alice Town, spotty rain with this next front. I don't expect there to be a lot. Could there be a rumble of thunder? Yes. Is that going to be widespread? No. Is there going to be heavier rainfall totals? Probably not. Front's moving through fairly quickly. You'll pick up a north wind as we go through later Tuesday and then into Wednesday. Here comes the next moneymaker for us here, and that one will arrive on Friday. Right now, at this point in time, my thinking is widespread showers and storms. Some of those storms could be strong to potentially severe. Obviously, we're still 5 days out. I'll be watching the situation and monitoring it very closely for you here, but you get the idea. It's going to be a pretty rough Friday across the area. Based on the timing of this, they'll begin to move in during the morning hours, sticking around through most of the day, and then pushing their way south and east. If I take the model and I extend it out just another 24 hours here, which is what I'm going to do. So let's go out, let's see here, just another 24 hours. And then put this back into motion. We'll take a look at what picks up behind that, because it will get into the Turks and the Caicos, okay? So kind of a little preview here of what I'm expecting with this. I'm gonna let it run out one more time. So this is our Friday, and then into Saturday, here it comes. And then I just want you to notice, this is a nice front. I mean, this front has some oomph to it, and it's gonna push these showers and storms deep, deep, deep into the Bahamas, and eventually the Turks and Caicos, portions of Cuba, and then eventually we'll be talking about Hispaniola and even Puerto Rico. Nice little slug of rain coming with this next front. For most of our area outside the Bahamas, this will be moving in late this weekend and early next week. But let's talk about Nassau's forecast. What a wild week ahead for my friends in New Providence. It's a beautiful afternoon right now, 85 the daytime high. Showers and an isolated storm tomorrow. It's a 40% chance. Look at Wednesday. I mean, we're coming up saying hey to spring, but we're doing it on Wednesday at 73 degrees, cooler and breezy conditions. Thursday looks great, and then the showers and storms, some of those strong to severe, heavier rainfall is likely through portions of that area as well. So that's what I'll be monitoring, friends, for the week ahead. What you can do is help monitor Meteo Mundo across all social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. We do some exclusive forecasting on TikTok as well, just a quick snippet of videos. But again, if you want to stay up to date of Meteo Mundo, you can find us there. If you have a picture or video you want to send me, mymeteomundo@gmail.com. Of course, you have a specific question about the forecast, as I've mentioned, drop it in the comments section below. I really appreciate you liking these videos. Subscribe if you want the latest forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Help that channel grow. I appreciate it. Friends, have a great rest of your Monday. I'll keep you updated, and I'll see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.